Right then, so a quick walk around video for an absolutely stunning Honda Accord. This is a really rare car in so many ways. It's a 2-litre Type S automatic, which is rare enough, but the fact that it's only done 39,000 miles from new, the full Honda service history, just had just 2 owners from new as well, the last of which has owned the car virtually the whole of its life, because the first owner was probably the Honda dealer, which was only for a couple of months. The car's been kept beautifully. I'll go around it. It's a bit windy, so I hope you can hear me okay. Go around to the front of the car. Front bumper looks very clean indeed. Bonnet of the car, very good. Obviously you've got the odd little light marks and blemishes that you expect to see on a car of this age, but really for a car of this vintage it's very clean. Near side, beautifully smooth in the panel work there. Can't see any obvious indentations. Apologies, I have to cut that out there. Alloys really good. Looks like they might have recently been done because they're very, very good indeed. Full set of Bridgestone tyres all round. Again, lovely sign of ownership. And it's aged absolutely brilliantly, this car. It really has. It's incredible. Little lip spoiler on the Type S versions as well. Deeper rear and front bumpers. Again, just give that a little bit of substance to the styling of the car. And the offside, driver's side. Again, really, really clean in the panel work. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're looking at a car that's now, oh crikey, it's 16 years old. My mental arithmetic's appalling. And it's very clean. There is, and there will be, if you get a microscope out, a few little light marks in it, but realistically, that's an exceptional car. Going to the back of the car now, with the half leather interior, which again has been kept very, very well indeed. And on the passenger side, again, all very, very clean and tidy. Full sets of original Honda mats, of course, fitted to the car. Finally coming to the driver's side, door card again, as with all of them, very clean indeed. And driver's seat, even the bolsters, amazing condition really. So inside the car now, engine's running this section as they always have, so the dashboard, sorry, can be seen illuminated, which again is in incredible condition. Sat nav working perfectly, a lovely silver trim of these later models, looks absolutely fantastic. And come up to the main dash binnacle for you, hopefully you can see 39,491 miles only. And there are no warning lights on the car at all whilst the engine's running. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a fantastic car. This is a Honda Accord 2-litre Type S automatic. Car's registered RV07YLC and mileage of just 39,467 miles recorded. The reason we do all of our videos, and actually especially this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of our cars, they get to see the car advertised actually in operation. The reason being is that, we've, like many people, been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs or description, but only to get there and find out there's actually an obvious fault that shows up when you drive the car. So that's why we do it. Road test is also done on the same, or part of the road test route. We take our customers for test drives. Hopefully then it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car, a real rarity this. We don't buy many of this vintage because most of them have been to the moon and back in terms of mileage, or their condition isn't good enough anymore. They've sort of fallen into the kind of the wrong hands, but this had to be bought. It's, before I start the video, I'm massively biased. I think this is one of the best cars Honda ever made as an overall package. But in terms of ownership, just 2 owners. The second owner's had it virtually since new, so I guess it was probably a demonstrator when it was new from the Honda dealers. And he serviced it each and every time by Honda. I can't remember, it's something like 11 or 12 services the car's had. It's been wonderfully looked after in every single way. But more to the point, and video, as I always do, I start with the engines, which starts instantly, of course, and settles to a smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car, and temperature gauge is running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda car. Honda build, without doubt, the best four-cylinder engines in the world, and they have been for decades, and this is a classic example of why, really. We're talking about, even by modern standards, it kicks into the weeds, most modern engines, in terms of, you know, how it runs, how flexible it is, how, you know, certainly in terms of reliability and durability, they're incredibly tough and reliable over enormous mileages with just good regular servicing. But that's only half it, because the rest of it, I mean, it's just a joyous engine to use day in, day out. It's economical, you put your foot down and it responds really well, but it does so when you put your foot down. Oh, it's just such a sweet, refined, beautifully engineered engine tone to it. You've got that kind of harshness you get with lots of other engines in its class. It is a brilliant engine. Engine then feeds through into the auto gearbox. Obviously Honda have, you know, chosen the ratios to extract the best out of the car in terms of, you know, performance and economy. As with pretty much all Honda autos, gear change quality is absolutely brilliant. You know, on the move, you can hardly feel them. They're very, very smooth indeed. It does also have the facility, if you want to, just tap the gear lever to the right. It'll select the gear that matches your forward speed. 5 speeds, obviously, on this vintage. And this means you can change gear manually. So if I push it forward, I got the gears. Pull it back, go down the gears. It won't allow you to over rev it or damage. It just won't allow it to change gear if it thinks you're going to hurt it. But it's quite handy if you're going to do an overtake and want to control the gear you're in, or you're, you know, one of the more enthusiastic drivers out there perhaps. But everything about the gearbox functioning absolutely perfectly. And then we come on to what I believe is one of the most underrated chassis ever to be made. I think it is genius. When you drive the car, and most people, when they get in, you think, what's that blithering idiot on about? You know, just jump in and drive it. It just drives really nicely. It's smooth. It's got a beautifully damped ride. Manages to deal with the smaller imperfections in the road that lots of modern cars are much lower profile tyres sort of rattle your brains over. But it's got a real sophistication to this chassis, and it starts with actually the steering. Good old-fashioned fluid power steering, and crikey, all the better for it. It's got natural weighting, it's got genuine feel, lovely weight to it as well, so it feels substantial on the road. Track's dead straight, there's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit, but it works in absolute harmony with the chassis. So again, just driving along, tootling along, it's just a really nice power steering system. It's nicely weighted, as I said, and it's very nice. But should you be in the mood to push the car, that's where most of its competitors, you know, let's say a VW Passat of the same era, a very comfortable cosseting car. You know, if you just got to tootle along, show it a few corners, and they just become floppy and just not great. They feel really nose heavy. This uses all 4 wheels beautifully when it corners. It leans on all of them. It's got such a neutral balance to it. It's unflappable through corners. It just doesn't seem to be phased, whether you've got bumps, off camber, long constant radius ones, sharp hairpin ones. It is simply amazing, and I've driven these on a track, so I know what these are capable of, and it is an astonishing feat of engineering. It really is. And incidentally, absolutely no rattles, clonks, anything coming from underneath the car, because the whole car feels pretty much like new to drive. It just feels so solid on the road. I'm just going to give the brakes a little bit of a shove. I'm not going to go mad on them, but again, really good brake pedal on the car. What I'm looking for in particular is kind of pulsing or vibrations, and there's nothing at all. It's all absolutely spot on. And then finally, to come inside the car, which, joy of joys, in an era of cars dominated by huge screens up there, means you can read your texts on the go and not escape emails and goodness knows what else. You know, you've got a relatively, very highly equipped but relatively simple dashboard to sit behind. A beautifully built interior, which has been kept in fantastic condition. but it's just so easy. You can just jump in the car and drive it. It's as simple as that. This one is equipped with sat navs, you can see there, all functioning exactly as it should. Air conditioning, which gives you dual zones, by the way, pumping out absolutely ice cold air, so working absolutely fine. You can control various functions off the screen if you want here. You can do your temperatures on there, so you don't have to go into the screen, but if you do press audio, air conditioning. It's really simple, much more so than the vast majority of modern cars to operate. But it's also just all the texturing of the plastics, the quality of every button you press has that wonderful high quality feel that Honda give you. And then your dash binnacle in front, classic Honda, just beautifully detailed, lovely backlighting, simple. You look at it, you get the information, you look back at the road, it's as quick as that. No kind of peering to trying to find out what you want to know. Then you got this lovely leather bound steering wheel, which of its era, now all manufacturers got these big chunky steering wheels which kind of feel quite nice to hold, but when you go for the smaller rimmed ones, you do get much more feel back through the steering, and I love this. And again, the steering wheel, like the rest of it, in just stunning condition. This is a very, very, very special car, and I don't apologise for saying that. I just think it was completely overlooked. Every group test you go to, Passats, Mondeo, BMW 3 Series, Audi A4, this would probably languish sort of middle or to the lower order in lots of those. And yet, weirdly enough, all those magazines, when they come back to them now, start to appreciate just how good these are, because it's, drive one of those of this vintage, they don't drive as well as this. It's as simple as that. And that's not biased, that's just fact. It drives perfectly, cannot fault it in any way.